Welcome to another episode of the Way of BJJ podcast. As always, due to strong language, inappropriate analogies, please do not listen to this around your kids. Now let's get to the podcast.
Maybe I should work out and be the Asian macho man. Do like a Filipino.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, are we starting?
Yeah,
Oh,
wow.
Shit. Hey.
Man, welcome to another episode of the Way of BJJ podcast. Now with video and visual, so you can see our handsome faces.
Hi guys, I'm Tuna.
I'm Stu. Nice to meet you.
Right, and as you know, this is Minju. I feel so underdressed right now, man. Look at that shirt, the cream of the crop. Look at that shirt. Where can I get that?
The internet.
The internet. Oh, man, I've never heard of it.
Senpai.
What is that?
We're leveling up because before you could never go look at that shirt because we were just all audio before. Wow.
I know.
Now we got some video technology.
So that also means if you would like to sponsor us, this is the best time to reach out to us. We would be more than happy to take your money.
Yeah, we want money.
Yeah,
so we can buy better equipment.
So as always, go follow us on Spotify or any other podcast platform, right? Share this with all your jiu-jitsu buddies just because we do such a good job of keeping you entertained. Okay, so let's talk about, some of the most important thing I want to talk about today actually is starting with you. Because a lot of our listeners and our fellow followers has been thinking, where the fuck is Master T, aka Tuna, right? Some people even message me privately saying, did you kill Tuna? Why is it all you in all the videos now? Where the fuck is Tuna? So what happened?
I'm recovering. I had surgery on my shoulders. I think I had slap surgery, lesion thing, where I dislocated my shoulder and ligaments, the thing that's keeping it there, fell apart. I don't know the detail. Long story short, I'm healing. I want to be good, and I'm going to be competing in a year.
Right, and now it's time to make the short story long.
Yeah.
What happened, man? Because it's something that's simple as doing a shoulder surgery and then go home and rest up,
I almost died.
Into a freaking nightmare, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. So, did you know the story is too?
Yeah. You have to tell it.
Okay, so I got my surgery and everything went okay, and I got discharged. I went home. My whole shoulder was numb, right? So I came home and I'm just gonna eat my food, and then after I eat my food, I'm just gonna like nap and sleep, right? Just so I can just get the day over with, and then the faster to recovery, I guess. But right when I was eating my food, I sat down on my couch. And then I felt wetness on my back, and I'm thinking, you're a retard. You fucking sat on your drink somehow and spilled it on the couch. So I got up, I looked, and I just saw blood all over my back. And what happened was like, I snapped one of the stitches, and it ripped out an artery. So it was bleeding like crazy. I had to go to my neighbor, and luckily he knew what to do. We called 911. The first lady didn't want to give us the ambulance, nothing. She just put it over the wound, but we couldn't see see where the stitches was.
The lady was like, just quit being so dramatic.
Yeah, and then I was fed up because
lady, you almost killed Tuna.
I was fed up because I was just like, what the heck? She wants us to find out where the surgical wound, but we didn't know. It was like 4 stitches and with one big another band-aid on top, so we couldn't see, and all of it was like soaked in blood, right? So we don't even know where it's coming from. Finally, I called 911 again, talked to the other lady. She's like, wow, that lady, the first one you called is crazy. You hit an artery. Get someone to put his hand on your neck to stop that thing bleeding right away. And then we listened to her, ignored the first one.
Thank God.
Yeah. And then she called the ambulance right away. So I could have died because of that first 911 responder.
Imagine if you listened to that lady.
Yeah. Here's the best part.
I'm overreacting.
She got mad. She's like, you shouldn't have called somebody else. She didn't care about saving someone's life. She just cared more about like her pride and her report. Because the first lady was like, wow, that lady could have killed you, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, it took another 45 minutes for the ambulance to come. But I would have waited for them because there were actually 3 beautiful, gorgeous paramedics, and so
straight out of a porn movie.
Yeah, it was the most pleasant, fun, and flirtatious ride to the hospital. It was good.
Made the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, and then I learned too, in Kill Bill when the blood splatters everywhere. That's fucking real, man. Because right when I got to the hospital, and it was a good thing. They were on the ambulance. The paramedics were thinking, should we take the Band-Aid out to see what's going on? And they're like, no, let's just put pressure on all of it, and then and then we don't want to make a mess, right? And then good thing they didn't do that, because right when they took it out in the hospital, I have a picture of it, blood everywhere. Once they took it out, it started squirting. I have a line of blood like this, because it just squirted.
You are a squirter.
Yeah, I'm a squirter. At that time, I didn't really think much of it. I was just like, oh, it's funny, I survived and whatnot. But then in hindsight, like when the anesthesia lady called me, and then my friend who's like a nurse, I talked to them, and they're like, yo, you could have died, because a lot of death that happened, it's like someone just cuts their artery, and then no one was able to control the bleeding before the ambulance get there, and they just bled to death. So several situations. If I stuck with that first 911 and didn't call again, I would have bled to death.
Yeah. So let's say the Canadian medical system almost killed you twice.
Yeah.
So the first time is because obviously the stitched through the artery. That's why.
Yes.
That's why it popped. Right. That's why when you move, you just went like
boom,
rip,
and then
right? So that's the
crazy.
first thing. Stitch the fucking artery. Then so they tried to kill you once, didn't succeed. But if you imagine if you had gone to bed or took a nap, at that point, you would have
and
bled out.
I wouldn't have woken up. I would just bled out, and then that's it.
Yeah. It wouldn't be the worst way to go, but,
Yeah.
but I would be kind of sad if you died.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
I can't be sad I'm dead.
Second time they try to kill you is the 911 lady said, hey dude, quit being so
Stop being a
dramatic,
bitch.
man.
You just had
You're
surgery.
Just a little pussy,
It's
dude."
a little bleeding. And then she got defensive. Like, oh, you shouldn't have called anyone. I would have been able to deal with this. I'm like,
Oh
fuck,
my
man.
god, man. I mean, I really don't.
That pisses me off the more that she cared more about her ego
Yeah.
and her report than like
Yeah, I mean,
someone
I honestly
dying.
don't like to bash the medical professionals. I mean, I used to be a EMT down in the Seattle area, so I understand like how much stress and everything it is. But still, man, that's no excuse. If your heart is not in it, if you're not in it to actually save people, you're in it for your own fucking ego. Do everybody a favor and don't be in the industry, man.
Yeah.
You know, go do something else. Go be a butcher or some shit, man.
You know what? Kind of same thing. Like I'm not in the medical thing. Before I worked at Starbucks for a while, I gotta say, man, I fucking treat coffee better than most fucking medical people treat their patient. And this is fucking coffee, and I was getting paid minimum wage. You know what I mean?
Sad.
And that's why I get
Were you
so.
getting paid minimum wage? Dude, Starbucks, man. Come on, man.
Well, no,
Don't do that to your people.
no, before, but like, you know what I mean? So yeah, kind of, yeah. Starbucks, I fucking paid more than minimum wage. But yeah, I fucking did that, put more effort and passion to that coffee than the fucking nurses and a physical human being.
Yeah, well, man, but we're glad you're still here.
Nah, made it a lot. I had a good story.
Yeah,
So
I know, yeah. And now you guys know that's what happened. So he was on the mend for a little bit. So this way,
it's healing. I have
he had
movement.
To, I mean, dude, remember you lost so much blood? You had to be
Yeah.
there for like 4 days or some shit?
Yeah, man, I was like cold and shit.
Yeah.
I was weak. It was scary.
Yeah.
I mean, the medical professionals, they make mistakes all the time. One time I broke my hand and they were like, they were over.
Hold on to the mic. Hold on to the mic until you're done. Yeah.
They were, they were overstaffed or understaffed or whatever, overworked. They put the cast on my hand, my broken hand, inside out. So the soft part was outside and the hard part was on inside. So I had to go back to the hospital like a few days later, and like the guy that was an actual cast like professional was, he was very disappointed. Not only did they put on an inside out, but they didn't like have a little bit of curve, like the natural curve your hand has on the cast, and he put a brand new one on, but yeah, don't put too much faith in the medical professionals.
Yeah, man. So that goes to show you. I think there's a lot of.
It just takes one stupid person. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of parallels to that versus Jiu-Jitsu as well. Because it is a Jiu-Jitsu podcast. Sorry, I have to bring it back to Jiu-Jitsu. That's why you don't listen to gurus or authority figures ever, right? You always have to think about things, with your own brain.
Yeah.
And make your own decisions, right?
Yeah.
So always be questioning. So whether that's Jiu-Jitsu or whether that's life or death.
In the beginning, right, if a person doesn't know anything, they kind of have to like listen to somebody, right? But then when you meet the Buddha, you gotta kill the Buddha. That's what they say.
Don't kill the Buddha.
Well, Zen says that in a way that just like, in the beginning you have to listen to somebody because you don't know, right? They'll guide you, but understand there's like no ultimate truth. Everyone can just point you to where Jiu-Jitsu might be.
Right.
And then eventually, once you have more fundamental understanding of it, you'll just have to walk your own journey, get there.
True.
And then you'll meet some high-level people. But even then, they're not fucking saints or the absolute truth.
Yeah, that's
because the younger generations will come up with some weird shit by either accident or a lot of mental thought into it. And change is always going to be evolving.
Yeah.
So the key thing is the journey in the end, it's not about beating people. It's like knowing who you are, where you are in Jiu-Jitsu, and going for that walk.
Yeah, there's only one universal truth when it comes to Jiu-Jitsu, and it's that you should give us a 5-star review.
Yeah,
because
that's
what
the
we
only
deserve.
truth.
That's the only truth.
Now let's get to the subject matter.
Yeah.
Sports entertainment.
Yeah, dude.
What are your favorite rule sets?
Yeah, I think this discussion came about because of the Fight Pass Invitational 4 that just happened a couple weeks ago, right? Yeah. So, Stu, did you get to watch that at all? The Fight Pass Invitational with it's the one with Craig Jones versus Felipe Pena for the main event?
I did not get to see that one. What was the rule set?
Oh, well, they had EBI for that one, and then
so they did
several rule sets,
right,
which was good.
They had EBI for most of it, for the tournament itself, which was actually, honestly, it was pretty exciting. With a few, other things we can talk about. And then they did a mixed rule set where no leg locks is allowed, right? Okay. Just to protect the MMA fighter. They usually do that when there's like a current active MMA fighter that does a grappling match, just so they don't get messed up too bad. Right?
Long-term injury, yeah.
Right.
They want to protect their assets.
Right, and then they also had Glover Teixeira versus who's that? Anthony Johnson? No, not Anthony Johnson.
No.
Fuck, what is
Anthony,
that guy? Anthony Smith. Lionheart. Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Okay.
Right. So they did 3 rounds of 4 minutes. So 3 4-minute rounds of grappling. So it was kind of like MMA.
Okay.
It was kind of like MMA but without the striking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So they did all 3 different rule sets. And so I think today we want to discuss like what makes it exciting, right? Because I think. Remember, did you start watching EBI when it first came out?
I did, definitely. EBI was so exciting when it came out.
Yeah, what did you think of the first few events?
Like the first few events were awesome, especially like the first one, like the finals with Gio versus Jeff Glover was like amazing because nobody was stalling. They were actually going for it. And then as the events kept going on, people figured out the rule set, I feel like, and then it slowed down a little bit.
And what was the last EBI rule type of events that you watched recently?
I can't even remember. It's been a while since I've watched a grappling competition, but I can't remember when the last one was.
Yeah, but I think Stu hit it on the head, right?
Yes.
It used to be freaking exciting when it first came out.
Because for me, if someone gets to overtime EBI, in my head, it's a draw. I don't really care who won the overtime. It doesn't mean anything to me because in reality, the guy got submitted in overtime. But would he have gotten his back? Would that guy have gotten the spider web? When I'm editing videos, I don't really care about finishing the armbar because as a grappler, everyone can get to a position and finish the armbar. The most important thing is how the fuck did he get to the armbar and how the fuck did he get to the back? And the overtime, you just get there. So it means... Like when I watch it, I'm like, I don't even need to. I don't even watch it. It's just
So
doesn't mean anything.
So you watched that one, right? So what?
So saying that, like when people just get to the overtime, it's like, ugh. But like what's happening now? I think you mentioned this before, Senpai. First EBI was good because no one cared. Nobody wanted to be in overtime. The EBI overtime was supposed to be like, we just need to find out who the winner is. And then if you get there, you don't get any money.
Right. Remember the first few EBIs is like you have to submit.
You have to submit
regulation to get paid.
That's why first EBI worked because they didn't care because like of course there was the overtime and it's a good way to determine, but then like you don't get money from that. You get money from submitting somebody and not getting to overtime. But what happened now, and you mentioned this, I was talking in a car with you, Minju, so I want to say that because I'm saying it for you.
No, it's okay.
But he mentioned shit. Now, they took that out. Now, there's just like, they get their bonus pay, and then they get to be an overtime. So they took out the incentive of trying not to make the overtime important. But what's happening now the focus is on the overtime, and what happened is like the actual match is not as important anymore. And you know who really exaggerated? Craig Jones versus Felipe Pena. I was expecting to be the most technical, Like I was hoping to see like steal so much moves and break it apart, but no, they just stand up and waited till overtime.
Yeah, man.
And then they decide and then at that point, I didn't really care.
Yeah, so this is my.
I love Eddie Bravo, but
Yeah.
I really think the overtime sucks so much because
Yeah, so
for
I
me,
mean-
transition is important. How do you get there?
Yeah, so this is my analogy. This is my analogy, right? So fighting to stall in regulation just to get to the overtime so we can determine a winner is like
Advantage.
No. It's like ejaculating without the actual fucking.
Yeah.
Right? So
I do that every night
yeah,
already.
you just went to the without the actual fucking. You know, but the fucking part is the part that's important.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Got to have a little bit of foreplay.
Yeah.
right? So the best sex is when you have the perfect foreplay, then the fucking itself is awesome, and then you have the release at the end, right?
Not just like
So guys, so make sure you don't listen to this around your kids. Disclaimer. And that's essentially what's happening now. There's no foreplay. There's no fucking. Everybody just want to get to the jizzing part, you know? Shit. So
it sucks. Well,
yeah, man.
And then there's really nothing aesthetic to watch too. No, you just break the armbar or you get the back. There's like no cool transition.
I guess there's still some kind of excitement to watch the escapes and stuff,
Yeah.
but again, it's just like watching somebody ejaculating and shit.
I guess maybe if I went to watch live, I would emotionally be involved and then want
Right.
this. But as someone who's studying and trying to steal moves,
Yeah. So if Eddie Bravo is listening, bring back the incentives, right? You keep saying this is the best rule set, and I agree, but only if we have the incentive to finish in the regulations.
maybe like have the best way to do it is. So the key thing is like now they're bringing pros in, right? So like if it goes to overtime, they all both get paid the same amount. Like they both just get paid to show up money, and then have like a bonus. No, but then there's going to be paying someone extra. Then
I don't know. I mean, they're the ones running.
Yeah.
running the tournament. You guys figure it
honestly,
out.
personally,
You guys
I would
figure it
prefer
out.
points than the EVI overtime because then at least it would force them to be strategic, and then tying up their game and whatnot.
So, Stu, did you watch the ADCC from last year?
I don't think I saw too much. I might have seen a few highlights, but how was it? And
I don't know. So you haven't watched any grappling?
I haven't.
Why are you even here? Jesus.
But you know how he does not to know. He can just say what he likes about sports grappling, right?
Yeah, we just. You're in the podcast because of the shirt. So.
Yeah.
The key subject matter today. The key subject matter today isn't anyway a particular event that happened recently. The subject matter is, for you, what can make this into a popular sports entertainment?
That is true. So
forget about what happened recently because some people won't even know what's happened recently.
So we already talked about the Fight Pass Invitational.
Yeah, who cares about
it,
that?
and that's okay. So
Yeah.
so Stu, so if you were to what kind of rule set or what has to happen during a grappling event for you to feel like, hey, man, I want to spend money and go spectate?
I mean, there's got to be a few things, right? You need big names. You need people that you actually want to see, right? Like,
No, you need to gain rapport with something.
right? So, that's where your Craig Jones versus Felipe Peñas, or you've got your Gordon Ryan versus whoever. Usually is a pretty, well, it's not a good match because usually he dominates. But
To just whoever's good, actually, that's pretty much
it's just interesting to watch him and how he can continue to dominate people like that. But, it depends, like no time limit matches. It really, it slogs on and it's really slow, and like usually it's not as interesting because a 45-minute grappling match,
It's pretty boring.
it's not always the most fast-paced
Yeah,
thing.
I remember watching that Isaac Michel versus Kyle Chambers. That one.
Yeah.
It went on for fucking 3 hours, and I watched the whole thing because I already watched like an hour of it. I'm like, you know what? I have to find out. I've already invested so much. I have to finish watching it.
Good. So that's a good thing you brought that up, Stu, because that's the problem. And then what's going on right now? It's going to be hard to make it sports entertainment and to regulate spectators and whatnot around it if the time doesn't end, right? But usually at highest level, it's hard to determine for someone to get the dominant position in submission. Hence, that's why they brought the EBI overtime. But is EVI overtime the right answer? Points, I think maybe I'd prefer points. But
I think a lot of people are saying that now, like ADCC rule set is their favorite right now.
Yeah.
What do you guys, do you agree? Do you, what?
I want to see more grappling. I like the EBI rules. And honestly, in the end, I would prefer, as a butt scooter that, sucks at wrestling, it would mean more to me that, that someone finished somebody with their stupid takedown than a fucking EBI thing.
Right, so like a legit takedown to points actually means you
more, because
you actually did win that exchange.
Yes,
legit.
Because they were both fighting for the same thing, and in the beginning battle, you know what I mean?
Right.
I always just believe that's you got someone in overtime, but would you have really been able to get there? Because the majority of the best guys' game is to not give them their back or their whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I want to see how they get someone's back.
Right.
If somebody just have their back, it's just like,
yeah.
might as well. It's like trying to watch an action movie where the guy just walks up behind them with a gun and shoots their head. Mm-hmm. There's no more.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing I like about the ADCC is that it's actually hard to score.
Yeah.
Right? Because you actually, they're really strict on, like, you have to get control in order for you to score.
Yeah.
Right? So I like that too. That makes you fight so much harder. And then it also makes the person that's almost taken down or almost having their guard passed to fight like crazy to not make it happen. Right? And you can't win on like a stupid advantage. I'm not bad-mouthing IBJJF, but I am kind of.
Yeah.
I think IBJJF would be good if they just take out advantage. Because advantage is a subtle thing where like, it's a point something that's easy to acquire, right? But hard to but it's enough to win you, but you can protect it. It's easy to protect a 0.5 point than a full point.
Yeah.
So if you just eliminate that and actually just...
And let's be honest, it's highly subjective sometimes.
Yeah.
And then which means the judges can easily give it to the Brazilians and then win the matches.
That's the thing. But if they actually get rid of advantage and just stick with full points, then people would be actually forced to not get an almost sweep, but actually get the fucking sweep, right? Mm-hmm. But why would the Brazilians do that if they won't have one up anymore?
Yeah. And then disclaimer, we have a lot of Brazilian friends and we love them, but you guys are so good.
Sorry, not Brazilian. The IBJJF.
The IBJJF, right? The IBJJF, But then the Brazilians are so good at jiu-jitsu anyways. You guys are gonna win without all these advantages or biases anyways, right? Just go out there and just beat our ass.
So just get rid of the advantages would be good, and then maybe something to add. Somehow, I don't know how to incorporate this. Like I've been thinking, submission and add it to points. Like submission attempt.
Yes,
because
that's the one championship rule set.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. I don't know how much points it would be compared to a pass and whatnot, right? Maybe I would maybe different category submission. Maybe a submission from a controlled position would actually be higher than a one-off. Does that make sense?
Right.
Because
so you're saying if you get to a submission from methodically climbing the ladder hierarchy of dominance, and then get to the back and then sink in a choke, but the guy escapes, that should count more than just drop into a heel hook.
Yes,
or
because
drop into an ankle lock.
Because that one shows kind of premeditation. I always believe in premeditation as opposed to luck, right?
Yeah, first degree murder.
Yes,
manslaughter.
because I like to think in not just doing it once of out of 10 times, how many times would this have worked, right? Because I'm not just going to win that one battle. I want to win the whole war, right? So
okay, yeah, that's an interesting thing, right? So let's see. That's why I actually like watching one championships, right? That's actually what they're doing. They hire high level referees, right? They have Shaolin. Okay. They have Shaolin Vitor Ribeiro to be the referee. So he's the one who determines whether the submission is legit or not. You can't just spam a weak ass submission and hope to score points, right? You have to have a legit submission that creates a reaction out of the other person to actually panic or try to escape, and then the referee goes catch. Then that's his cue of, hey, that's a legit submission attempt, and that scores points. And then the idea is at the end of the match, whoever has more of those legit attempts will win. Yeah. So I think that's actually it has created some pretty exciting matches, I have to say. Yeah.
I like to add one subtlety to that.
To Stu if he's not.
Well, I thought he might have said something, right? Then I'll just grab. If you feel like you have to say something, just grab this from me.
Sure, fight over.
But I want to add like little nuance rule to that. I think when at the end of it, they should have like a 2-minute thing where they're like, or like a 1 minute where a guy can argue that what they did was a submission. Because here's what I'm thinking: someone could invent a new submission, right? And then the ref might not know what it is. So if they can they can actually recreate that submission on the ref to say, hey, I know you're not aware of it, but this is a legit submission. The ref should have the ability to just be put into it and go, actually, never mind. I saw that position. I wasn't aware of it before, but now that you showed me, it's legit. I'll give you that catch.
Yes.
Just a subtle nuances, right? Because then,
But
or would you just train and not use new submissions?
But I also think, even if you put on a submission that the referee is not familiar with, he can still judge it by the reaction of the other person.
I guess, yeah. 'Cause then I guess if you would have made it work, then
The other person
they would have just reacted.
would be
Yeah.
reacting.
So the key thing was right. One FC did it, and then since they're only just having, one like event every time, not several, they just made sure. Okay, we just have to have the right higher level ref to determine what's the catch or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love watching. I love that One FC is making grappling worldwide, like easy to understand, right? And forcing MMA fans just to love it.
And I actually love how they're doing that inside of the cage, right? Did you? So let's go back to the Fight Pass Invitational, right? The flow of the match got stopped so many times because they were getting to the edge of the mat, right? And then another thing is they freaking elevated the stage, so this way if you get to the edge, you have to worry about actually falling off, right? So it's not like ADCC where they a lot of the times they don't want to break the action, so they allow it to continue outside of the mat area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but for UFC Fight Pass Invitation, they can't do that because it's elevated.
You know what, too? I think it should be wrong. Like, if I were to design an arena, I'd fucking dig down and have them go underneath.
Like karate combat. Like
Yeah.
the pit.
It makes so much more sense because, first of all, visually, right, for a spectator, if you're going to watch a grappling match, you don't really want to watch upwards because, like, you can't really see what's happening, right? Yeah. If you watch up, you're going to miss. You're just going to watch from, like, you actually want to angle downwards when you're watching grappling because most of the stuff's happening is from, like, the sky view.
Yeah, you can't see shit.
Yeah, and then second, it's dangerous. Then that's why you have to kind of stop and make sure they don't break their neck when they fall, right? And it happens a lot, and that's why you have like doesn't really make sense. Then you have like people kind of struggling holding them up. But if they actually did the karate version where you have like the kind of weird sideways wall, would actually be perfect, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Would mean more.
I like it. So either that or inside of the cage is legit as well.
Yeah.
It's, just make sure the action doesn't stop because they're getting to the
edge.
And
then if they're in the cage, let them fucking hold the cage. Let them put their feet and their toes in there right there.
So they can break it.
Why not?
That would be a spectacle. That's for sure.
And then
I will watch it.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like if it's dangerous, then don't hold on to the cage.
That's true. It's kind of like teaching your young children not to do stupid shit. You can't just tell them.
Yeah.
They have to do it and get hurt.
And
so they
then
won't do it again.
And then I wouldn't want to slam somebody, a kid in class, right? But like if they're competing, you got to teach people to let go. If you're gonna be slamming a triangle, because in real life you're gonna fuck yourself up, right? So. I
mean, that just happened recently. Somebody slammed somebody else through the table. If you saw that highlight.
Oh.
like power bomb from the triangle, like right in through the table.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. See, that one I didn't get. He specifically picked that. Like he should have just been out because he had control of the guy, right? He purposely went over there and destroyed shit. That's the dumbest fucking thing in the world.
I mean, I have heard people suggest that as soon as you get picked up off the ground, it should be stopped, right? Because
that's an escape.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, you are banking on the goodwill of the other person to not fuck you up.
And it's always sort of been a thing where it's like, if you're getting picked up in the triangle, you fucked up already, right? You should be hooking the leg and not getting picked up in the first place.
I agree with that. I think if you get picked up, that should be an automatic escape and reset on the feet because again, the person could hurt you real bad if he wanted to.
I didn't think that's actually a good rule. And then I think that should be like a purple belt and under rule. You know what I mean? But at a certain level, you're allowed to slam them, and then if they haven't developed that, they deserve it.
Yeah.
But
maybe they have like super crazy cat-like reflexes, so when they get slammed, they put you in a submission.
Yeah.
and whatever.
And then at that point, you've reached a level of like expert where you can actually like, okay, if you think you can hold on and do that nuances, then but it's on you now, right? Like at this level, it's just like we trust your expertise. If you don't, then you ruin it for everybody. You're stupid. Right, but I like that. I think like certain level, if you lift, it should just be done. Yeah. Start again, and then just start from standing up, because it'll just it helps somebody from injuring themselves.
Yeah, that's why we have you on the podcast. That was a good one. Yeah, come up with another good point. Let's go. Put you on the spot.
Let's see. There's been a few other ones.
Get it closer. There you go.
Sorry. IBJJF. The reaping rules are just so minute, and like it's like you get disqualified if your heel is 1 inch to the left or to the right when you're doing a leg lock, and it's pretty ridiculous just to see high-level people get matches ended for no reason, basically, when everyone knows what's going on in leg locks nowadays.
I used to think that too, and I wanted to make a video back in the day of like scientists, studying a person, and there's like 8 of them in a lab coat, and then one person here in ashigrami, and then one person doing the ashigrami, and they're watching it slowly get right when it passes, boom! The knee explodes, and they're all taking notes, right? And then I want to exaggerate like how dumb that rule is. But then actually now, the more I've actually watched rules where they allow it, I've actually seen so many fucking knees get fucked.
Exciting.
Reaping is actually real. like I hate, like, you know what I mean? Like I thought it was, but it's actually like who was it? Micah Galvao versus Kynan.
Okay. But that was a match where reaping wasn't
was allowed. It was allowed. It wasn't, or was?
It wasn't allowed.
Oh.
So that's why he wasn't expecting to get reaped. And that's the reason why he got hurt, because it wasn't supposed to happen, but Kynan did it anyway, so he got DQ'd, right? So
that makes sense. So if you're aware of it, you won't put yourself in that position.
Yeah, I mean, Mika Galvao is high level, right? If it were to be in a rule set that reaping is allowed, then he would never have let it happen in the first place. But it wasn't supposed to happen, and then it did. So he wasn't prepared mentally to deal with it, and that's why he got hurt. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I guess like a sport is dangerous. I can see the danger of it going over there, but honestly, the same thing can happen for a regular ashigrami if they put the pressure in this way. So yeah, it is exaggerated. You know what? I still do want to make that video where it explodes.
No, I do. I actually agree with Stu, man. Just make it legal. I mean, if you don't want heel hooks, then sure, say no heel hooks, but don't just say
go all the way.
You can reap. Then your knee is not just gonna explode if you reap, right? It's just the same as any other position. So the UFC that just happened yesterday, which is July the whatever,
14th, 15th?
14th, 15th, this Saturday, right? So this it's one of the women's fight, right? It's got a takedown. Right, so when one of the girls went for a takedown, the other girl posted her hand wrong and dislocated her elbow just from defending the takedown. Did you see that?
I saw that. Yeah,
right?
I saw the X-ray too.
I saw that, but I didn't want to see that. I'm in the wrong sport.
So the point is, anything can be dangerous if it's a freak accident, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean, should we ban takedowns now? You know what I'm saying? So
we should ban everything.
MMA fights should start on the knees. Yeah. That's exactly what we need.
There should be no contact.
Yeah. So it's I mean, again, any organization, you can make your rule sets whatever you want. So we're just voicing our opinion on what would make it more exciting, so it can become more spectator friendly, right? So, and I think these arbitrary rules like no reaping or whatever for like a casual fan, it's going to be really hard for them to grasp.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's the
It makes sense for rules to have an amateur low level to protect the
right, if it's beginner, right? Yeah. White belt, blue belt, or hobbyist, or the people who have to go to work the next day.
Sure, we have to protect them because they just do it for fun.
Yeah.
And then there are some people who don't work, who don't have a family, don't have anyone to provide for, and they'll do everything they can for that $5 medal.
Why are you calling Stu out?
No.
So rude. Jesus.
I wasn't. You're the one that actually did that. So rude, senpai.
Thanks.
No, but like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's different level, right? Because I've been on both fence. I was the guy that fucking didn't work, didn't this, and did everything for that fucking $5 medal. And then all of a sudden I had to fucking provide for shit, had responsibilities, and couldn't afford to get hurt for a fucking $5 medal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at the highest level, they have to be able to express themselves fully because that's their job, right? And you are 100% correct. Whenever you're like you're babying something at the highest level, they can easily go over that and protect themselves. But the fact that there's a rule set to not do that is actually making it more dangerous for the higher level because they're not addressing it anymore. And from what it sounds like, if something breaks that easily from a weird angle, that should really be addressed in a high level game.
Yeah, you need to.
You need to be aware of it. You can't just be like, oh, if I'm over here, it's gonna break and it's dangerous. Then we'll be like, well, I should. If reaping exists and they could hurt me, then you should think of it. That's actually a submission. Then
True.
I shouldn't be able to let my opponent get into a submission, whether it's an accident or not.
Yeah, or if you're afraid of it so much, just tap to it.
Yeah. Or have better angling and entanglement with your feet.
I think Stu wanted to say something.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's so hard to watch like high level matches go down to that. Like you're saying, like beginners, hobbyists, whatever, intermediate even. Definitely protect them.
Yeah,
like,
because nobody's gonna be watching their fights anyways.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah. Only like their coach, 7 other people.
Not even their own wife is gonna watch it.
Yeah. That's so true.
I guess another problem that comes in is the different rule sets and people being confused on what rules are enacted. Just like you said in the Galval match, reaping was allowed or wasn't allowed, but probably somebody made a mistake and did it anyways, and then there was an injury, right? So going back and forth from different rule sets definitely screws people up quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, that is so true. That is also very true. Yeah. And another, on the flip side, would be somebody who's so used to reaping, they go to a gi match, then they reap, then they get disqualified instantly, right? That happens too,
And especially for the lay people, the lay audience that wants to get to this, but they're not understanding what's happening. Like for me, it's hard for me to watch, like wrestling, actual like collegiate wrestling, because I don't know I only know wrestling for jiu-jitsu. Like you just gotta get them down, and that's wrestling's job, right? How to take someone down. Mm-hmm. But I really know like the flipping them over, how many points there is, and what the points are. So it's hard for me to watch wrestling because I don't know the rule set, right? I don't know how they could win. So I guess same thing for lay people watching jiu-jitsu. They're like, how did that guy win? Like especially the guy at the bottom, where they're thinking the guy on top should have been winning, but the guy in the bottom did a whole bunch of nuances, but he won the rules.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we need some one thing has to be popular to overcome, and then let the lay people know what jiu-jitsu is generally, right?
So I think after having this discussion and saying so much, I don't think any of our opinion is gonna matter because
who cares anyway? We need to make a podcast.
I know, because the most important part is that if there's money to be made by putting up exciting matches and there's the right incentive for the promotions, then they will figure out the most exciting rule set because they want more people to watch, right? So all we can do is to keep on wishing that, grappling becomes mainstream, that more and more people are watching it, so the promotions are gonna be more willing to experiment with different rule sets to find the best one. So I think the best rule set is is not here yet. I think within the next 3 years to 5 years, we're gonna have a much better one. That's what I think.
Here's my opinion. Can I add something to that?
No.
Okay, fine, I won't. So here's my pet peeve. I go on social media and I see this a lot. Oh, if they do any more of this, it's gonna be WWE. I fucking love I don't like I'm old school. I love WWF, World Wrestling Federation, with Jake the Snake putting the fucking bag on someone's head, wrapping that shit with the snake there. And then when I was a little fucking kid, I was jealous of this. I forgot who he was. He would walk up the stage and just fucking make out with a random girl. I don't want to fucking make out with a random girl before I beat somebody up. Who did that?
I don't know, the $1 Million Man?
Yeah, he did that too. I hate him. I'm so jealous. But what I loved about them was like, I love the drama, right? The only thing I hate about the WWE and WWF, that's fucking fake. It is.
Dude, you ruined it for most
Get
of our
over it.
listeners, man.
But here's the thing. I love the drama, and here's what I don't like when people like go in there like, oh, this guy's they're just turning jiu-jitsu in WWE. Well, first of all, when people say that, are they actually high-level jiu-jitsu players? Probably not. So most likely they watch jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? So like, there we go. The fact it's gotta be fucking entertaining. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, I'm just a warrior. Like you're fucking boring. Then join the fucking army if you're a warrior. You know what I mean? It's first and foremost, it's sports, and then when it's a sport, someone has to fucking watch it. So in the end, the most important thing about the sport is fucking entertainment.
Yeah, so
you're entertaining yourself and the viewer. So for all people, oh, it's like WWE, I'm a warrior. Go to the fucking army, shoot a gun.
Dude, you're gonna pop your artery again, man.
Like it just doesn't bug me. Like it's fucking entertainment. You have to entertain people. Ooh, I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior. Fuck, go be a warrior and stop doing sport then. You know what I mean? Fucking go join the fucking army. I'm a warrior. Then why the fuck? Then why even posting shit online? Why you even fucking? You gotta entertain people. People who hate like
Yo,
what?
we get it. Yeah, so I think Stu.
Sorry, I'm gonna.
I know Stu said that in the very beginning, right? It has to be a match that people care about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be the best people.
Yeah.
You just have to actually give a shit about who they are.
Mark Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk.
You know it's not gonna be high level, but you want to watch.
That will be so much fun to watch if it happens.
And guess what? The people are like, I'm a warrior. I'm gonna watch that. Yeah, fuck you then. Go join the army and be a fucking warrior.
Oh,
I'm a warrior.
All right, and then on that
That
note,
bugs me so much. It's just like, sports, we're just a bunch of fucking amateurs. There's no fucking real war going on. Or there is, go join that.
Yeah.
If you're such a warrior, go be a warrior and actually be in the fucking front line.
Go to
if
Ukraine.
not, you're a fucking, you're doing a sport that we're trying to popular and you're entertaining. You're entertaining yourself. You're entertaining the people watching you.
yeah, so this is the part where we're gonna slowly fade out into the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm a warrior.
I'm a warrior, but I'm not in the fucking army. I'm a warrior, but I'm not in the army.
All right, guys.
If you're in the fucking army, you're not a warrior.
All right, thank you guys for listening to our rant, and hopefully you got
I'm a warrior.
entertainment value out of this episode.
I'm a warrior.
And we'll be back next week with more of What's on Tuna's Mind.
I'm a warrior.
And
Later.
see you guys.
Am I right? You know what I mean? That's the most stupidest thing. If you're a warrior, being a